Chapter 17-20. Hidden Rain Dispute. The Hidden Rain village definitely lives up to its name. It's a land that somehow finds itself drenched about 90% of the year, and no one is really able to tell how that's possible. The group had to get some really good insulating cloaks to enter the foreign village, although there was still the question of how that would even happen. So, what, do we just walk in? Naruto looks onto the village, not entirely able to understand how he's completely dry, and yet 5 centimeters in front of him is a heavy downpour. Katori and Yakamaru stick their fingers inside the rain and pull back. I'm not entirely certain, myself. I know the hidden rain has always been secretive and visitors, but if that Konan person really is an ally. She totally is. I know she did some bad stuff, but she did change, we can trust her. Look, how about I find her, and we can directly go to her and see what happened. He sits down on the ground cross-legged and brings his hands together in a meditative pose. Hinata makes sure to keep an eye on the kids so they don't run into the rain and so they don't get ambushed by anyone. After a few seconds, Naruto gains orange markings around his eyes and his blue eyes are replaced by yellow. Yakamaru stares in awe, being his first time seeing Sage Mode. Naruto looks around confused. This isn't right. I'm sensing fighting all over the place, but Konan's nowhere to be seen. Could she be away, then? Let's go ask. They lift their hoods cloaks and enter the rain. The entrance to the village itself is a long bridge going over the rivers flowing around. Usually one walking through would be considered surrounded, and an ambush would be easy unless the person walking over knows Sage Mode or has the Byakugan. They already know someone is approaching them. Naruto sends a shadow clone off to the side. The clone reaches further ahead on the bridge and performs hand signs, slamming his hands on the bridge. The water directly under him begins swirling with increasing intensity. Sage Art Water Style, Great Waterfall. The jutsu creates a raging whirlpool that reaches down to great depths. The power of the water should crush anyone caught inside it, although it seems like the person manages to avoid taking the brunt of it. Hinata gathers chakra in both hands and thrusts them to the opposite sides of the bridge. Gentle fist, twin vacuum palm. Just as 2 figures emerge from the water, they're blown back inside with great force. Naruto and Hinata keep the kids close. Katori and Yakamaru are themselves preparing chakra, but are aware there's little they can do in this situation. The figures emerge from the ground, passing through it like passing through water. Multiple copies of the same 3 people, all of them dressed in white wetsuits, bandage covering the eyes, and a mouthpiece. But that's not all. He senses 2 more presences making their way towards the bridge. Back up for these guys? You found us before we could even put you in a genjutsu. One of the 3 takes a closer look at Naruto. Hey, Oboro, that's the kid from the Chunin exams. Yeah, you're right. Why are you here? As if a genjutsu was ever gonna work. Naruto and Hinata take a fighting stance. Where's Konan? Oboro of them tilts his head, his large spiky hair wetted by the rain and smooth over. Konan? You mean that fake angel? What's it to you, kid? Just answer the damn question. If you're from the Hidden Rain, then she's your leader, right? She knows who I am, so why are you attacking us? All 3 of them laugh. As if we'd want that fraud as a leader. We're loyal to Lord Hanzo and his beliefs, and we'll retake our village. Why you? Don't you dare call her that. The clones charge at them without warning. Hinata and Naruto strike to disperse them. They're not entirely solid like a shadow clone and they seem to have different compositions. Some are made of water, others of a more mist-like substance. Naruto ducks and weaves between them. He knows better than anyone that the best way to deal with clones is by dealing with the user. Another clone comes his way, but is quickly dispatched, although it does leave some black gunk on him and his clothes. Before he can strike, Oboro speaks up. Konan is dead. Naruto slows down in shock. His posture slacks off. His footing is off. It's only for a split second, but it's enough. Ninja art, seeping poison. Naruto cries out in pain as the black gunk he got on himself earlier burns into his clothes and skin. He can feel his muscles being burned and his chakra being sapped. Water style? Water fang bullet. The liquid left behind by water clones swirls into a spiral and lashes out and hits Naruto in the back. Naruto? Dad? Sensei Hinata, Katori, and Yakamaru cry out. They've had their own onslaught to deal with. Hinata's more than capable of keeping multiple foes at bay, especially clones. Yakamaru's been using his crystal wall to give themselves cover, while Katori's been sending out feather kunai to hit even more of them. Oboro leans down. Guess you haven't changed that much since the exams, kid. Naruto looks up and smirks. You'd be surprised. Talk big, but your chakra's being drained as we speak. You'll barely be able to use a clone. He laughs. Well, I never was good at that, anyway. A shroud of orange chakra surrounds him, covering him on black markings. The chakra pressure is immense. Team Oboro stepped back in fear. And? You have no idea how much chakra I have. In reality, Naruto probably could have done this earlier, but he doesn't know whether these guys have some method of escape like that masked guy from Kusatsu. So he waited until it became too late for them, and the pressure he's giving off masks the person who snuck closer. Whoever the two other ninja are, it became clear to him, their targets are these three and not them. They're the enemy of his enemy, but whether that makes them an ally remains to be seen. It's too late for Oboro to notice a presence appearing behind. Emerging from the haze is a woman with long green hair, her headband worn as a bandana, and a face mask. She stabs Oboro in the back with an umbrella and pushes him forward. The umbrella expands and needles fly out to the other two, Mubi and Kagari. Hinata rushes to Mubi and cuts off his chakra points. Naruto lunges at Kagari and knocks him out with a single frog strike to the gut. The two of them fall unconscious. Oboro slips through the ground and into the water. They try to keep track of him, but his chakra grows fainter until it disappears. The second presence he felt earlier makes her presence known behind the first woman. Her fringe hiding her left eye, she takes a good look at them as Naruto stops using his chakra cloak. Hinata comes by him with the kids and shuts off some of his chakra points so the poison doesn't spread too far in his system. The woman with the covered eye draws closer and activates the mystic palm. I can get it out of your system. Naruto allows her. My name's Fio, and that's my teammate Surin. She points to the green-haired woman. You're a Hyuga from the Hidden Leaf. Hinata looks to Surin. Yes, I am. You've met the Hyuga clan? We faced one at the last joint Chunin exams 2 years ago, but circumstances lead us to work together. I see. If it was the Chunin exams, then there was only one other Hyuga present. Neji. So they've worked with his team. Fio gets a closer look at the blonde she's healing. You're Naruto Uzumaki, aren't you? What? Yeah, how do you know? Have we met? No. She shakes her head. But Lady Ainge, no, Lady Conan gave a very vivid description of you. She spoke very highly of you and your shared ideals. Conan did. Wait, those guys said she's dead. He nearly jumps up remembering. Is that true? She can't be dead, right? That's complicated. It might be better if we take you to our base. I know you're not obligated to help us, but Lady Conan respected you a great deal. I beg you. She lowers her head. Naruto and Hinata share a look. Of course. At the base, Team Oboro are locked away and awaiting interrogation. The four-leaf ninja are sitting on a bench, opposite of them is a man with flowing light blue hair and a young boy around Katori and Yakimaru's age, with purple hair. Fio and Surin are standing behind them. I'm afraid you come at a rather tumultuous time. The man speaks. My name is Baron and this is my charge, Mutsu. He motions to the boy. Mutsu, you don't need to stay. Go out and rest. The boy nods and goes to leave without a word. Hinata turns to Katori and Yakimaru. Why don't you go out too? This is a pretty personal matter, okay? Chat with Mutsu, maybe you can become friends. Okay. The two follow outside. Naruto's gaze follows the purple-haired boy. He feels like he's met him before, but that can't be possible. Baron sighs. Right. As I was saying, I'm the leader of our faction that supports Lady Conan. So what happened to her? Baron sighs. I'm not entirely sure what you know and where I should begin. But about a year ago, Lady Conan returned and said things would change for the Hidden Rain. She said how we could put our trust in other nations and villages. She spoke how you, Naruto Uzumaki, changed her viewpoints and made her believe in a better world. Fio fiddles with her umbrella. It was a drastic change, but she told us the truth about Akatsuki and Lord Pain and herself. We always held them in such high regard, we saw them as our savior, and yet they were not unlike us, in a way. Naruto is getting antsy. Look, I get that a lot of things have happened, and it hasn't always been easy. That's exactly why Nagato and Conan did what they did. But she's my fellow pupil who studied under the same master. She said she'd change the Hidden Rain and now those guys. He points to the general direction they were taken. Tell me she's dead? What happened? Each word is said with a slightly more raised voice. Katori and Yakimaru sense the pressure he gives off, that they didn't even think he was capable of giving Og. Hinata, seeing this, tries to calm him down. Naruto, please. Surin steps forward. Watch how you speak. Baron raises a hand to stop her from continuing. You're right. I blabbed on. I apologize. We found her in critical condition by the lake. She was as close to dying as one can be while still alive. We rushed her over and tried to heal, but she wasn't getting any better, so we used our machines to keep her alive until we can actually heal her. Some who felt betrayed, who still held some loyalty to Hanzo's old rule, used this chance to split off and took the machine and Lady Conan with it. We don't know where they're keeping her. Naruto clenches his fists. Damn it. But if she's still alive, then I should be sensing some chakra from her. Fio shakes her head. There are seals placed on the machine. We hope to prevent her from being found in her vulnerable state, but we were betrayed, and it's ended up working against us. Now we can't find her. So how are we supposed to find her? What about my Byakugan? Hinata looks around the room. Ah. Baron gasps. That's right, your eyes. But can you cover such a wide area? We're not exactly able to move freely. With my abilities as they are, the Hidden Rain village is far too big, but she turns to Naruto. If my chakra were to be boosted. Ah, just like we did during the war. Precisely. Baron looks between the two of them. Then, you can transfer chakra to others and boost their abilities? Yep, sure can. I got a lot of chakra, so it's a pretty powerful boost. Ha, what do you mean you have a lot of chakra? It's my chakra you're transferring. Naruto replies in his mind space. Look, let's not sweat the details, alright? Then could you also transfer chakra to Fio? She's a sensory type and a competent one, at that. We've been trying to locate the two leaders of the opposing faction, Hiru and Numeri, but with little result. Take out the leaders on top of everything? Do we truly have the time to do that as well? We must. There are 2 scrolls needed to operate the machine that's healing Lady Conan, and I know for a fact they're each carrying one. We need to get those scrolls back. Naruto stands up, pumping his fist. Right, let's go. Right now? Don't you wish to rest? No time for that. We gotta get Conan back. As the children step outside, Matsu is very quiet and reserved. Katori and Yakimaru catch up to him. Hey, my name's Katori. It's nice to meet you. And I'm Yakimaru. Matsu remains quiet and somewhat standoffish. He's acting like he didn't hear them, which may very well be true since he looks sleep-deprived. A voice rings in his head. Matsu. A woman's voice that he neither knows nor recognizes. His head starts ringing and he falls to his knees. Hey, are you okay? Katori goes to his aid. He turns around surprised to see someone there. Yeah, I'm okay. He picks himself up. He looks like he has a question to ask, but is too shy to ask. I guess you didn't hear us the first time. I'm Katori and this is Yakimaru. Hi. The boy waves. I'm Matsu. Sorry. He stands up by propping himself against a wall and goes to a nearby exit leading outside to a terrace, followed by the other 2. He sits down and holds his head as the rain falls and spatters on the ground some floors below them. Hey, are you sure you're fine? You don't look so good. Katori looks him over. Just a headache. I just need to sleep it off. How's that worked for you? Yakimaru crosses his arms. Matsu gives a faint smile. Not well. I keep hearing a voice. A lady I don't know keeps calling my name. Katori and Yakimaru share a look. Is that normal? Matsu shrugs. Wasn't before. But please don't worry. He tries to give a smile, but his tiredness wins. Why are you all here? Oh, Dad said he wanted to meet a friend here, but it sounds like that's not gonna work out. Say, is rain usually this bad around here? Yeah, I think that's why it's called the Hidden Rain Village. Good point. Matsu. Another jolt of the pain. That voice again. He feels like he's being pulled somewhere, like he knows where the voice is coming from, but he's too afraid of it. He hasn't even told Baron and the man raised him. He stares in the direction he feels the voice coming from. Later. Naruto made his way to the top of a tower a bit further ahead, trying to get the entire village in his range. Hinata and Fio are with him. So, what do we do? Fio looks between the 2 of them. Just use your abilities and Naruto will do the rest. Fio focuses her chakra on her sensory abilities as Hinata activates her Byakugan. The Rain Kunoichi can't help But be curious about the Hyuga clan's abilities, having seen them in action once already. Just like before, I can't sense far. I believe I can see why. This isn't normal rain, it's infused with chakra. It's also interfering with my Byakugan, my vision is blurry. Naruto stretches as if he's about to exercise. Alright, let's get to it. He enters his tailed beast chakra mode, causing Fio to gasp in surprise and a bit of admiration. He places a hand on the two Kunoichi, and a cloak of red chakra surrounds them, two pointed ears and a single tail swishing back and forth. Wow. I can sense, so much farther than before. But the rain is still getting in the way. Wait, I can feel them and so many more. They're headed this way. Dozens of them. Hinata scans with her Byakugan. Damn it, already? Naruto creates several shadow clones and sends some of them to warn Baron so they can prepare, while the remaining clones go off to fend the attackers. I'm feeling a theme of us being attacked by large forces. Fio, which ones are Hiru and Numeri? We'll go directly for them. Hiru is 5 blocks north-northeast on top of a tower, Numeri is 4 blocks north at the base. She's weaving a lot of chakra. Alright, you go prepare with Baron. What about you two? Hinata stands up. We're going, before they retreat. The two flicker away, while Fio goes down. Along the way, they avoid the attacking rain ninja as much as they can, using their respective abilities. What they can't avoid for long are the giant creatures that appear in front of them. In 3 towering blasts of smoke, summoning creatures charge out directly for them. A buffalo, a leech, and a salamander. The salamander shoots a ball of fire, but they manage to dodge. Naruto, if you go into Nine Tails mode, I know. We still don't know where Conan is. He bites his finger. If Kurama and I fight here, we'll end up destroying a lot of buildings. He smears the blood on his palm. I'm not used to fighting in tight places, so I'll just get someone who is. He forms the seals and extends his palm, markings manifesting in the air. Ninja art summoning, Big 3. Another large blast of smoke, probably bigger than the one just before, fills the air. The leech tries to slither by to get to its targets, but it's met by a Sasamata, a 2-pronged studded spear. Gamaken digs his weapon deep into the ground, crushing the leech's body so it can't wiggle free. Sorry if I'm clumsy. The buffalo's running forward horns first, but is met by 2 katana blades. Gamma Hero jumps above it, still intertwining his blades with the horn. He flicks his wrists and the buffalo does a somersault in the air. Before it can crash into a building, the blue toad slashes down with both swords to drop it to the ground, where the bovine lands with a splash that sends waves throughout the streets. The salamander, gathering fire in its throat, is met by a blast of water, sending it flying back. Gamabunta hops to it and shuts its mouth closed, slashing with his Tanto blade. I ain't the way I used to be, and you're no Ibuse. Naruto, whatever you're doing, do it quick. That's the plan, boss. Meanwhile, Matsu's headaches are getting stronger. He feels himself being pulled to a specific direction. Katori and Yakimaru are to the side, having a discussion about Matsu. I dunno, should we just go back inside? Yakimaru expresses his concern. We can't leave him. Come on, just play nice. We don't have to be his friends, you know. You don't have to befriend everyone. Worked for you, didn't it? Katori gives a cocky grin. Yakimaru grumbles. Fine, we'll stay. But if he keeps at it, I'm going inside where it's warm. They turn around, only to see Matsu climbing down the stairs. Hey, wait up. Both of them run after. Where are you going? Matsu is very purposefully not looking down as he uses the stairs. I gotta find her. I gotta go to her. Go to who? I don't know. Matsu practically screams, his headache not helping the situation. The purple-haired boy reaches the bottom and begins running at full speed. Just as Katori reaches the bottom herself, Yakimaru hesitates. We should go tell the grown-ups. The girl just keeps running without looking back. There's no time. Yakimaru muses to himself. Is she gonna be like this the whole time? As fight continue, several ranged shinobi fall to the ground in front of Numeri. She's crouched in the center of what appears to be a large summoning formula. Hinata lands in front of her, taking a stance. Numeri places her mouthpiece. Leaf. You have business in the hidden rain, you've never had any business in the hidden rain, yet you always come and do as you please. No more. She slams her hand on the ground. Ninja art summoning. The water that has fallen, and even the water that's about to fall, is drawn to the circle. Rather than the usual puff of smoke that appears when a creature is summoned, this summon seems to materialize itself from the water around. Blobs of water grow larger and larger, enveloping the entire area and protecting Numeri. The giant slime fully emerges and is ready to attack. Naruto reaches the top of a tower. Even though it's so high up, it's actually a large even area for purposes he doesn't really know. Either way, the person Fio identified as Hiru is here. Sitting on the ground. He's cross-legged in the traditional rain uniform. Flak jacket, mouthpiece, cloak over his shoulders. He's not moving. Naruto remains on the ledge. You're being cautious. Good. I was told you're an impulsive brat, but it would appear not. So you know who I am. Of course I do. That moron Oboro wouldn't recognize a Jinchuriki if it clawed his face off. Hiru stands up. I know you're here for Konan. She spoke a lot about Naruto Uzumaki from the Hidden Leaf. Disgustingly so. That makes it easier then. Where is she? You'll find out when you join her in the afterlife. He whips out several kunai with tags attached to their handles. He throws them in all directions. Whether side Naruto dodges towards, he'll be caught in the explosion. The explosion tags go off, detonating each other in a domino effect of blasts that resound throughout the area. The smoke is visible from nearly every part of the city. When the smoke and high-pitched squeal die down, Naruto is nowhere to be seen. He jumps up onto the platform again. You'll have to try harder. Oh, I will. Hiru takes out a small metal ball and plays around with it in his hand. End of chapter 17. Chapter 18. Gentle Fist, Vacuum Palm. A large pressure of chakra, boosted by Naruto and Kurama sharing their chakra, is sent at the U's summon in an attempt to clear a way to its summoner, Numeri, in the center of it. She's actually able to somehow be surrounded by this gunk and not suffocate. Is it the mouthpiece? Those things sure are handy. The giant slime is blown back a bit, but its wiggly texture endures from being completely separated. It manages to keep its general form. Hinata clicks her tongue. Even that wasn't powerful enough to splatter it? Numeri gathers the slime back together. She lifts her hands and the slime changes its shape, becoming leaner and taller. She then lowers her hands to the side, and it expands like a tidal wave. Hinata jumps to avoid it, climbing on the side of the buildings. Numeri leads the slime to follow Hinata wherever she goes. Gentle Fist, Body Blow. As it draws near her, she releases chakra from every part of her body to at least temporarily stall the appendage following her. What follows is a game of cat and mouse, with Hinata gracefully dodging and Numeri getting increasingly frustrated and increasing how much of the slime's mass is dedicated to attack and how much to defend. Neither of them can get the upper hand until at the height of Numeri's anger, Hinata flickers right above her. She reels back both elbows and prepares for a strike. She crosses her hands, sending down even larger pressures of chakra. Gentle Fist, Vacuum Wall Palm. The little slime around Numeri that remained for protection is blown away, and Hinata lands right next to her, preparing to strike. Crouching, one hand extended frontward to the ground and another backward to the air, palms upward. 8 trigrams, 2 palms. 2 strikes to the shoulder and stomach. When she pulls her arms back, they're covered in slime. 4 palms, another 2 strikes to the arms. More slime surrounds Numeri. 4 palms. 3 strikes land, but the 4th time, her hand becomes enveloped in slime. The summon has regained some of its mass and is protecting its summoner. She releases chakra from her hand to blow it away and dodges back. A failed 64 palms, the ooze is too thick to let her penetrate to her chakra network. She prepares for another vacuum palm. So far it seems like her best bet to clear away the mucus, even temporarily. She can try to work on the chakra points and intervals. Before she can release it, she's forced to jump upward as the slime is recovering its all around and tries to strike her from behind. Numeri cries out in pain, not having full control of her chakra. Thankfully, her slime isn't fully dependent on chakra, so she can still control. This time it's all offense, no defense. The entirety of the slime's body, which was scattered everywhere, goes upward, surrounding Hinata from every direction. She uses her body blow to send it back, but the slime, that was too far to be affected, continues its march. It grabs onto her arms, her legs, her chest. She's completely covered in the ooze as it begins crushing and suffocating her. Nowhere to run now. Die and regret ever getting involved. Numeri turns to leave Hinata to her fate. Inside the ball of ooze, Hinata tries to blow it away, but it's now far too thick to be affected. She has one option left that she can think of. A technique that she's never used in actual combat before. She stops resisting and closes her eyes. She focuses, despite the pressure, despite the terrible feeling, and when she opens her eyes, they're not the pale Byakugan. Instead, they're light blue, with a white flowery pattern around her iris. Tense again. Her hand surrounds itself in light blue chakra, not unlike Naruto when he uses Kurama's chakra. The light blue chakra burns the slime, and it begins bubbling. Chakra gathers around her entire arm and forms into what looks like a spear made of pure chakra. She aims her hand at Numeri and releases the chakra spear, which sends it blasting right through the slime and into Numeri's back. The rain Kunoichi is sent flying into a wall. The slime's temporary unstable form allows Hinata to free herself. She lands on the ground, panting in exhaustion. The Tensigan is exhausting her more than she thought. That single attack drained more of her than she intended. As Numeri begins picking herself back up, Hinata gathers more chakra. It surrounds her entire arm, taking on a feline shape. Gentle step, lion wave. She sends the chakra flying, creating a wave much greater than her normal twin lion fist. It washes over her foe and the immense damage knocks her out. The Tensigan reverts back into the Byakugan. She can't allow herself to rest as the slime behind her is not disappearing. It's actually growing bigger and wilder. It's thrashing around violently, slamming into the surrounding buildings and ground. Hinata grabs Numeri and jumps up to get some higher ground and gauge her options. Was she not controlling it? Or rather, was she keeping it at bay and preventing it from going berserk? Great, how do you stop an expanding slime? Before she can gather her thoughts and formulate a plan, a giant two-pronged spear whooshes past her. It embeds into the slime and Gamakan begins spinning it like spaghetti. Gamma Hero and Gamma Bunta hop over, as well, to slice it into pieces, but it doesn't stick. It quickly puts itself back together and snatches away their weapons. Damn. Hey, girly, what is this thing? I'm not entirely sure. It's a form of summoning, but it's not going away, and the summoning formula is gone too, so I don't know how to get rid of it. A voice comes from behind her. Dry it. She turns to see Baron land on the roof next to her. I saw this thing expanding, it's sucking in moisture, and it has the potential of covering the entire village. But how do we dry it if it's raining? I have a way. Toads, could you keep it at bay? We might be a bit clumsy, though. Gamakan brings up his shield and body slams the slimes, while Hero and Bunta will have to rely on Frog Kata. Baron brings his hands together and amasses a great amount of chakra. A whirling wind surrounds him before he sends it forward. It keeps growing and growing in intensity, loose cables on the nearby buildings being ripped and torn. Get away from it. Bunta and Hero slam it back with their giant hands, and the three of them hop back. Typhoon style, great consecutive bursting extreme winds. A giant tornado appears right over it, extending far into the skies. It completely disperses the rain and even blows away the water under it. Girly, you got any fire-style jutsu? We can burn it dry. I don't, but I do have explosion tags. Close enough. All three toads' cheeks puff out and they release streams of brown liquid. Sage Art, Toad Oil Bomb. As the oil hits the tornado, it quickly spreads through it to the point. At this point, Hinata throws the explosion tags which are swept into the air current and are blown to all heights. They all duck for cover before she releases the seals. The resulting explosion is loud and many of the nearby buildings are set on fire from it. Some ninja of the opposing faction are caught up in the blast. Baron releases his typhoon style and the slime is a puddle on the ground, its dry form compressing and pulsating until it eventually stops. Baron's people had been told to sit back and wait, and this is their cue to no longer wait. They make use of Baron's tornado and the distraction it caused to swoop in and take the upper hand. The two factions are now in full battle. Hinata and Baron take the time to inspect what Numeri is carrying, and the Rain Ninja identifies the scroll needed for the machine keeping Conan alive. This is it. Now we just need to get Hirus. As Hinata turns around to where Naruto went to meet the other Rain Ninja, she sees a giant shining pagoda that she'd been too absorbed in combat to notice. It's translucent and some chakra is gathering in the roof, seemingly being sucked in from something at its base. At this time, her nine-tails shroud disappears, which it shouldn't do unless something happened to Naruto. As the giant toads prepare to go check on it, they stop our chakra. And they disappear back to Mount Mayaboku. Once again, this is something that shouldn't happen unless the summoner is in danger. The realization puts her in a mild state of panic. I'm going to Naruto. I'm coming, as well. Katori POV. During all the commotion, the three kids had snuck under the city and into the sewers. It stinks. It stinks. Yakamaru's pinching his nose trying to keep the smells away. Hey, Matsu, I really don't think you should be going this far. There's fighting up there, isn't there? Katori is following closely. She was originally all for coming along with Matsu, but they've gotten so far away and they didn't even tell anyone. This was a terrible idea. There's always fighting here. It doesn't bother me. That's really sad. Matsu just shrugs. Why did you even come? Well, because you'd be lonely by yourself, right? And you look like you might need help. And I'm mostly following her. I'm not lonely. I just like being alone. Another headache. They've been getting more and more severe as they come closer. Matsu the voice just keeps calling his name over and over. The kids reach an exit latch and find themselves inside a building rather than on the streets. It's different from the usual architecture of the Hidden Rain that consists of metallic plates and tubing. This place is cleaner than that, made of marble. Multiple pillars line the hallway and the only piece of decoration is a rectangle of some kind against a wall, with stairs leading up to it. The kids cautiously come up and close the lid. They make their way to the stairs to see it's in fact a memorial of some kind. The rectangle is lined with white flowers and a man is laid to rest atop them. Orange hair with multiple piercings on his ears and nose, dressed in robes with red clouds. Katori tugs at Matsu's shirt. Hey, look at that. They all turn to where Katori is pointing. A large machine is placed in the corner, very much in contrast to the room. It's bulky and about as white as a bed. It has tags and seals all over it and a large glass lid. Drawing closer, they see a woman in the same robes as the man in the flowered, blue hair and makeup that's faded over time. Matsu presses himself against the glass. This is her. She's the one calling me, I know it. Do you know her? Who is she? Yakamaru and Katori join him. I don't know. I've never seen her before. Is she, alive? Yakamaru looks skeptical. Katori elbows him in the ribs. Don't just say stuff like that. If she was, she'd be in the flowers too, right? I guess. I think everyone was talking about someone being missing. I think this is maybe her? Metal echoes in the distance. Footsteps. They quickly dart behind the large memorial for the orange-haired man, hoping they're not spotted. Some people walk past the entrance to this room. And Lord Hiru's out for this Jinchuriki? Yeah, apparently. All of this is weird, innit? Lady Conan talked about. The man receives a smack on the head. Don't call her lady. She lied to us all these years about everything. Now we just gotta rely on Lord Hiru to actually pull us to greatness and rise above the other villages. The man rubs the back of his head. Didn't have to hit me. He grumbles. I still kinda feel bad, I get what you mean. I wanted to believe too, but if she's dead, nothing we can do about it. The kids do their best to keep quiet and are praying they leave soon. Matsu's heavy breathing might give them away soon, and his headache is flaring up again. Matsu. He lets out a grunt and his hand taps the floor, making an audible sound. Hey, someone in here? Katori and Yakamaru look at each in shock. They have nowhere to run, and they can't really escape from two grown men. One of them steps inside, kunai in hand. Hello? Yakamaru grabs Matsu by the arm and is ready to bolt. He has experience running away from people, he might be able to. But could Katori and Matsu? Katori puts a hand over his, signaling him to not do anything rash. She forms a series of hand signs and several small birds materialize and fly upward. The rain ninja is startled and ready to pounce, but relaxes when he sees it's no threat. Just some birds. Little fellas must have gotten in to hide from the rain. Can't blame 'em. Come on, let's go. The kids wait to hear the footsteps fade from earshot before they can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Naruto POV. Over on the top of the tower, Naruto has found himself in a bind. He's currently being held in place by multiple chains, originating from tags all around him. His neck, his hands, and his legs are all chained. Chakra is being siphoned from him. Sealing formulas under him keep him at bay. The chakra is being sent to the roof of the pagoda that surrounds him. Hiru is heavily panting, his flak jacket cut and slashed, his mouthpiece all but destroyed. Damn, you don't go down easy, do you, kid? Naruto cries out in pain. Damn you, what is this? This? He draws closer and taps the pagoda. is a memento from our so-called god and angel. A way to trap Jinchuriki. They had a lot of information on tailed beasts and how to capture them. Naruto tries to struggle free, but to no avail. And you just took it? What were you planning on doing with all of this? Well, use it, obviously. I was going to go after one of the tailed beasts you all stupidly let roam free, but imagine my surprise when a Jinchuriki just waltzes in. You won't get away with this. We'll stop you. Hiru looks out to the village. You won't. All these seals, all these barriers. They're S rank. Even a free-tailed beast would struggle. I'll collect your chakra once you're fully drained. He flickers away, moments before Hinata and Baron arrive and see the situation. Naruto Hinata cries out as she comes to the pagoda. What is this? A barrier of some kind? Baron examines it. I'm sorry to say, I don't know much about barrier or seals. Hinata, it's fine. Don't worry. How could I not? She tries using her gentle fist, but she doesn't have a whole lot of chakra left. Hinata, it's fine. The Naruto inside disappears in a puff of smoke. What? That was a shadow clone. Naruto's voice comes from behind them. Hinata runs into his chest and lightly pounds on his chest. You had me worried. Naruto embraces her. Sorry. The pagoda begins fading from existence now that its trapped target is no longer inside. The Nine Tails chakra is free to return to its original owner. Baron looks confused. But how? That Hiru guys was trying to lure the real me to a specific spot, so I kept my distance. But I figured I couldn't play games for long, you know? So I made him think that was the real me and had to focus all my chakra to keep it from disappearing. And now what? Well, I thought that even if we get those scrolls, we still won't know where Conan is. I thought he might let slip where she is if he thought he won, you know? Now we can follow him and maybe find where he's keeping her. I see. Good thinking. So where did he go? Hinata breaks away from him and looks around. Let's find out. Naruto stays completely still for a few seconds to activate Sage Mode. Hinata activates her Byakugan, but it doesn't last long. She still has little chakra. Fio and Surin join them on the tower in a panicked state. Baron. Mutsu is gone. And so are the Leaf Kids. Katori and Yakimaru. How? Hinata forgets to look for Hiru after hearing this news. Naruto focuses even more intently to find them. I sense where they are. Hiru, he's going for the same building, then we need to hurry. Yeah, let's finish this. End of chapter 18. Chapter 19. Hiru made a run for it toward the main tower that once Lady Angel used as the spot for people to meet her at. He saw it fitting to begin using it for himself, since he intends to take over the village. He saw for himself the slime going berserk, which would only mean Numeri was taken out and Baron has one of the scrolls. Can't let them have the other. He makes his way to the lowest floor, where Conan's healing pod is. The building rumbles. He hears the sounds of combat. Those guys don't let up, do they? Gotta move the pod and get it to a better location. She can still be used as a bargaining chip. When he gets there, he sees from the corner of his eye 3 kids behind a giant memorial flower bed. And who might you be? He draws closer. Stay back. Yakimaru stands in front of the other 2. His legs are shaking a bit. He's lived a rough life and had to deal with a lot of scum, but this guy's a ninja. This might be the first time his life's been in actual danger. We'll have a little chat, you and me. Ninja art feather curtain. Dozens of small sparrow feathers surround Hiru which he swats away, but some of it still gets in his eyes and mouth, not expecting this kind of assault. Crystal style, crystal wall. As practiced before, a crystalline structure appears from under Hiru's feet. He's off balance for a split second, but they'd already ran the moment Yakimaru used his jutsu. You damn brats. You think you can make a mockery out of me? Lightning style, ball lightning. Several orbs of electricity appear around him, charging up in power. He sends up right for the kids. Ninja art, feather kunai. Crystal style, crystal wall. Both of them try to deflect them before they can reach even the halfway point, but the feathers are burned to a crisp and the crystal walls are shattered into pieces. Before they can act again, the wall behind Hiru bursts open. Hinata stands at an elevated position, both hands stretched upward, where a wall used to be just second ago. 2 figures jump out, winds howling around them. Wind style? Wind blade. Barren hands are surrounded by miniature whirling winds, sharp as a knife. He sends them flying at the lightning orbs. Wind style, twin Rasengan. Naruto sends his jutsu flying. Not as big or devastating as the Rasen Shuriken, but they expand nonetheless and disperse the electricity. What balls of lightning weren't dispersed hit the walls instead, not being close enough to hurt anyone. Hinata jumps down and lands next to them. "You disgust me, Hiru. Attacking children?" Baron picks himself up. "I'm not the one who sent children to do his spy work. Are you that short on personnel?" Unfortunately, Hiru is still between them and the kids. They can't get to safety until he's taken care of, but a fight would put them in danger. "Let the kids go." Naruto makes his demand. "Why would I?" An expected response. "When I could instead do this." He throws several shuriken at the three of them. It's simple enough to dodge, but there's no way that's all of it. And it isn't. Lightning style, lightning net. Lightning chakra emanates from the shuriken and connects each of them to the others, weaving a complex net. All of them are mid-jump or dodge, and with not enough time to weave chakra to push them away like the balls of lightning, but Naruto has something up his sleeve that doesn't require it. He reaches into his pouch and takes out shuriken of his own and imbues them with wind chakra, just like Asuma-sensei showed him. The wind shuriken strike the lightning ones and manage to weaken them enough to clatter to the ground and disperse the electricity. Baron brings his hands together. Wind style, breakthrough. A large gust of wind rushes to Hiru, but he manages to step out of the way. Gentle step, vacuum palm. Hinata sends wind pressure of her own towards him by standing just behind Naruto. The blonde catches a ride along, his speed boosted greatly by her jutsu. He gathers chakra in his palm. Rasengan. The increased speed also increases the strength as Naruto slams his signature jutsu in Hiru's chest and sends him flying into a wall. Naruto, not really having any solid footing, skids on the ground. Hinata beckons the kids. "Hurry, come to us." They all run. "Damn, you." Hiru's voice comes from the dust kicked up from his crash. "Damn you." Lightning cackles around him. Lightning style, thunderbolt. Jolts are sent flying everywhere, destroying the walls, the pillars, the mural above the flower bed. Naruto, being the closest, immediately goes to protect the kids. Hinata rushes to them, as well. One errant bolt goes flying upward, destroys the ceiling, and then comes flying down towards Conan's pod. Naruto sees this, and for a moment, his mind is split. Protect the kids and protect Conan. He forms a shadow clone, but someone already beat him to it. Mutsu makes a run for the pod. "No. Get back." Baron calls out. There's not enough time for a wind-style jutsu to stop it. Naruto's shadow clone goes after the young boy just as the bolt reaches. A giant explosion follows, with even more dust being kicked up. "Mutsu?" Baron calls out again, praying for a response. They wait with bated breath, but Naruto knows one thing for certain. His clone hasn't disappeared. When the dust clears, they see Naruto's clone surrounded by papers. Multiple pure white sheets of paper surround him and the pod, forming a protective layer. That's Conan's jutsu. Lady Conan has awoken? But when they look just behind Naruto, they see Mutsu sitting on the ground with his arms extended but he has no hands. Instead, sheets of paper fly out of his sleeve and part of his face looks like it's made of paper too. They all look shocked. All except Baron, who just balls up his fists. Naruto's clone looks back with a surprised expression. "Mutsu? But how? You have her jutsu?" Hiru brings himself up to his feet, leaning against a wall. "What the hell is this, Baron?" Hiru turns to face his foe. While everyone was busy being in shock, Baron had sprung into action. In the moment of hesitation and confusion, he'd already closed the distance and is in front of Hiru, sickles of wind around his hand. "It doesn't concern you." Wind style, wind blade. The sickles dig deep into Hiru, shredding his flak jacket, his shirt, and his skin. He's pressed against a wall and falls limp on the ground. Baron stands over him, breathing heavily. Naruto approaches him. "Hey." The temporary rain leader doesn't look to him. "We can talk about it later. We have a victory to declare." He goes through Hiru's possessions to find the scroll for Conan's pod. "Fine." Baron grabs the corpse and heads out. Proof of the leader being dead is the best way to lower morale and get forces to scatter. Katori and Yakimaru run to Mutsu's side. Naruto squats down with them. "You guys did great. But you'll still have to explain why you were even here." Hinata joins them. "Sorry, Mom." "Sorry, Sensei." The two lower their heads. Some time later. Things have calmed down in the Hidden Rain after the defeat of both Numeri and Hiru. Some abandoned ship and ran from the village, while others surrendered and left themselves to their fates. The main group had sat down in a room, ready to have a difficult conversation. Baron turns to Mutsu. "Mutsu, why don't you step outside for a bit?" Mutsu grasps onto the hem of his shirt. "I don't wanna. You said to hide my jutsu and not let anyone know. Is it cause of that woman? Is that why everyone was surprised?" "Mr. Baron, he has a right to know." Hinata can't help but sympathize with the boy. Naruto is already putting some pieces together. "When we first got here, I sensed some chakra that felt familiar but wasn't coming from him." "So does that mean?" Baron nods. "Yes. He is Lady Conan's child." Fio and Surin gasp in surprise. "Lady Angel's? But how could that be?" He places a hand on the boy's head. "About 8 years ago, she approached me with a baby. Asked me to raise it as my own and not tell anyone that she left him in my care. I didn't know he was hers, but I had my suspicions, which were proven a few months ago when he started displaying the same abilities as her." Mutsu looks down at his hand, causing papers to appear. "So you told him to hide it so no one would find out?" "Yes. I told him the truth, or part of it. That his mother was someone important, and so he should never tell anyone what he can do." "And, you're not my dad?" Mutsu hasn't looked up. Baron goes quiet for a moment. "No, I'm sorry." "Then who is?" Naruto asks, but going by the chakra he senses from the boy, he might already know the answer. Baron shakes his head. "I do not know. I never asked." Hinata squats down to eye level with Mutsu. "It'll be fine, dear. My mom didn't want me." "That's not true at all. Lady Conan feared what may happen if it was known you're her son." "The danger you were in today? That would have happened to you almost every day." Baron tries to reassure the young boy. "I'm sure she cares about you as any mother would." Mutsu doesn't seem convinced. Naruto stands to his feet and puts on his flak jacket he'd taken off. "No point in guessing, right? If you don't know what kind of person Conan is, let's just ask her." "But she's still in a coma and we still have no way of waking her up. We don't have the medical training." "Don't worry about that, I know just a people to help." Naruto smiles knowingly. "Of course, we can get her to Lady Tsunade just like we did Yakimeru's mom." Hinata quickly catches on. She smiles and turns to Mutsu. "You can come with us if you want to." Mutsu shrugs. Naruto squats next to the boy as well. "Look, I know you don't know me and you don't even know your mom. I know it's a lot to take in. But you saved my butt back there, so I owe you a lot and wanna help. I know it might be a lot to take but come with us. If you ever want to come back, just say and I'll do it. I owe you, after all, and we gotta repay our debts. Man to man. Shinobi to shinobi." He grins and raises a fist. Mutsu looks up lightly and bumps it after a moment of hesitation. "Promise?" "Promise. And I never go back on my word, cause that's my ninja way." "Then let's prepare to depart." Hinata stands up. "Mr. Baron, do you require anything else of us?" The man waves his hands in front of him. "Oh no, you've done more than enough. We'll take things from here and await Lady Conan's return." "But are you certain the 5th Hokage would help?" "Oh, we're not actually going to Granny Tsunade. I think someone else might be able to help more." Hinata looks confused. "More than Lady 5th?" Naruto grins to her. "You'll see." Once they collect all their belongings, Naruto and Hinata, Katori, Yakimeru, and Mutsu all gather in one place, surrounding Conan's pod. "So now what?" Yakimeru looks around confused. Just watch." The performs a summoning and a giant toad appears in front of them. Orange with blue flame-like markings covering his entire body. "Woo-ah." Mutsu looks impressed. Katori and Yakimeru do too, even though they've seen him summon toads before. It's still cool to see. "Alright, Gamma, can you take us to Mount Myaboku?" The toad nods. "Mount Myaboku? Not the hidden leaf?" "Yeah. I think it might be better." He scratches his chin. The head and maw can probably explain it better. "Anyway, let's go." The toad opens his maw comically wide and swallows them whole. This part is also weird, even if you've experienced it. Gamma looks at Baron, Fio, and Surin and Ribbits before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Darkness. And then light. Just as quick as they were swallowed, they find themselves out in the open again. Everyone except Naruto and Conan, for obvious reasons, gasps in surprise. The surrounding area is right out of a fairy tale with landscapes and plants all shades of greens and blues. The plants' wide leaves tower over them, and some wood-like structure protrude from the ground. On closer inspection, some toads can be seen inside from the carved-in squares. Apparently these are their homes. Naruto immediately gathers natural energy and enters Sage mode. Both he and the toad lift Conan's pod like it weighs nothing. Let's check in with Ma. She'll be able to help. Okay. They're all still bewildered and looking around at all the toads going about their day. Hey, Naruto. Good to see you again, kid. Did you get taller? They all greet Naruto as he passes through, and he returns all their greetings. Matsu feels and looks like he's about to faint. The frogs can talk, there's talking frogs, they're toads, actually. They eventually reach one particular stock house thing and Naruto knocks. A small toad opens the door, great tuft of hair on his head, thick eyebrows, and a goatee. Fukaraku raises a brow. Naruto? What are you doing here? Hey, I was hoping you might be able to help with something. Do you mind if we enter? The sage toad looks behind him at the group of people. Hinata bows as usual, while the kids give very confused waves. Well, you sure brought in a crowd. I think this is the most visitors we've ever had. He laughs. Come on in, kiddo. They're taken inside and are greeted by a kind purple-haired toad. They introduce themselves to the new folk as Fukasaku and Shima. Naruto explains the situation. Shima has been listening while cooking. You are right in that regard. The increased energies here in Mount Myoboku will definitely speed up the healing process immensely, just like how they healed your fatigue during training. So then you can help? I can. She nods. But that's no guarantee that I'll succeed. It all depends on this girl. Speaking of. Fukasaku scratches his chin. Wasn't she there when Jiraiya boy? He trails off. She's changed. Naruto interrupts. She's not like that anymore, she's a good person. You don't have to believe me. Fukasaku raises his hand. It's fine, Naruto. I know you wouldn't bring just any random person here. If you trust and care for her, then so will I. So will we. Shima joins them at the table and places down bowls of food for everyone. Naruto looks down and freezes in horror. The food. He forgot about the food. The kids don't look delighted. That's gross. Shima stares at them. What was that about my cooking? Somehow, despite being so small, she looks larger and more menacing than Hiru. I said that's bosses. It's a thing we say in the capital when we like something. Nice save, Yakimaru. Well, then dig in. I made plenty. Great. End of chapter 19. Chapter 20. Alright, let's get to training. Naruto begins warming up. Katori and Yakimaru jump in excitement. Matsu is excited too, just in a more reserved way. Since he's here with them to wait for his apparent mother to wake up, he may as well make use of his time. Alright, what are we gonna learn, sensei? Good question. Maybe we can figure out some cool killed ninjutsu for you guys. Whoa. Matsu raises a hand. Can we even do that? Hinata walks behind them and pats them on the heads. Maybe not just yet. You'd need a bit more chakra control for that. She joins Naruto by his side. How about we actually start with the basics? Oh, the basics are boring. Somehow Naruto is the one to complain. Hinata gives him a peck on the cheek. But necessary for any ninja. So what are the basics, anyway? There's 4. She lists them off on her finger. The body flicker, transformation, clone, and substitution techniques. Every ninja must know those 4 at the minimum. And once you have those mastered, we'll begin practice with kunai and shuriken. Even though I can already use my feathers like kunai? Fundamentally it's different. Controlling something with your chakra and throwing it with your hand, and you won't always have the time or opportunity to weave chakra. You must be prepared for every situation. That's what it means to be a shinobi. Yes, Mom. Yes, Sensei. Matsu raises a hand. I already know all those. Katori hops sideways to look at Matsu. Wow, really? That's so cool. Then you can train on your own jutsu and test Katori and Yakimaru on theirs. And when Konan wakes up, she can really help you with your jutsu. Matsu nods. Hinata looks at Katori and Yakimaru. If you were raised as ninja earlier, you'd already know them too, so we're a bit behind. Naruto intertwines his fingers behind his head. Yeah, but they catch on quick. They'll have that stuff mastered in no time. And then we can move on to the cool jutsu. Fukasaku hops on Naruto's shoulder. Speaking of training, We never did finish yours. Whatcha mean? I kick major butt with Sage mode. Your Sage training was interrupted when the Hidden Leaf was attacked, remember? You managed to master Sage mode in time, true, but there's much more to it than that. So since you're here we can get you started on the basics. So you're gonna become even stronger, Dad. You betcha. He gives a thumbs up. But what about Conan? Ma and I will switch taking care of the girl and training you. Her healing won't be slowed down, don't worry. Alright. With that, Naruto leaves a shadow clone behind to help the kids and goes to his own training. For the next week, the kids train intensely until their chakra is run dry. They practice day in and day out, with the occasional breaks and making friends with the locals. Matsu tries to get better at controlling his paper, but the only pointers Naruto can give is describing what he's seen Conan do, which isn't a lot, thinking back on it. The kids keep at it and have begun getting the hang of the body flicker, although they still have a ways to go. Training will take a lot longer than just this, but it's a start. They'll have more time once they finally reach the Hidden Stone Village, which they're already overdue because of the stop they made at the Hidden Rain, but Naruto isn't concerned about any of that right now. Conan getting healed takes priority. Hinata isn't slacking off either. In between training the kids, she's also continuously perfecting her form, making herself faster and more accurate. The Tensegan is particularly difficult to master and using it is exhausting, draining nearly all of her chakra in a matter of seconds. Naruto is being taught the Toad Arts of Mount Myaboku. Skills that almost all of the residents can use one way or another. The main thing is refining his frog kata, but also learning to spew oil and even use his tongue as a weapon. That last one feels weird and icky, but the sages are adamant he learns it, so learn it he will. By the end of the week, Shima calls Naruto to one of the stock houses and Hinata comes with him. The elder Toad takes out a casket. What's this? He looks it over. Something I'd forgotten was here. It's been waiting for you for about 17 years. Waiting for him? Hinata raises her brows questioningly. Well, just look it over. She goes to leave the room, leaving them to it, and pats Naruto on the leg as she passes. Naruto opens the lid and the first thing he sees is a photo of his parents and Jiraiya. Kushina is very clearly fairly far along in her pregnancy, Minato is holding her hand, and Jiraiya is towering behind them and pulling them both in a hug, the usual goofy grin on his face. This is a family photo. Naruto tears up as he rubs his thumb over his mom's belly. And I'm in it. Hinata places a hand over his and rubs his back with the other. Naruto sniffs and buries his head in her shoulder. She kisses him on the top of the head. The two of them just sit in silence for a minute, looking at the photo. Then Naruto continues looking through the box. Most of it random items, apparently just things Minato had stored here while training. Shuriken and kunai pouches which upon closer inspection have sealing formula on the inside. The three-pronged kunai that Naruto recognizes as one of the kunai his dad used for his teleportation. Taking it in his hand, something about the blade feels different from the ones he saw during the Fourth War, almost like he pours chakra into the kunai and the blades become enveloped in chakra, increasing the weapon's size. That's like Asuma-sensei's? Naruto nods. Yeah, it had the same feeling as his chakra blades. It's probably made from the same metal as those. Hinata notices a tanto blade inside and takes it. This one feels similar, as well. She allows her chakra to flow to the tanto. It's not as prominent as the kunai or Asuma's blade, but it definitely has an effect. Slashing through the air, it leaves behind a chakra trail. Did the fourth use a blade like this? Naruto takes a closer look at it. I don't know. I never saw him use one in the war. It's a strong make, much stronger than a regular sword. Maybe Katori or Yakimaru would want to use it. Are you sure? She looks up to him. It's a memento from your father. I'm sure. I can use this. He lifts the kunai. Be a shame if this one doesn't get used, you know? Although maybe we can wait till they clear the basics first. She leans on his shoulder. Alright. Come on, let's go meet up with the kids. Naruto stands up with Hinata's help. He brushes his eyes. Look at me, crying like this. I can't let them see an uncool side of me. Hinata cups Naruto's face and stands on her toes. You'll always be cool. And kisses him. Naruto returns the kiss, and once they break off, he blushes and gives a goofy smile. He wraps his arm around her, and they head out. A week after staying in Mount Myaboku, Conan opens her eyes. She groans, feeling pain surge throughout her entire body. Don't move too much. You're still not fully healed. Conan turns her head to the side, eyes meeting with a pale-eyed woman and purple-haired toad. She then turns to look back at the ceiling. I see. This is the afterlife I've concocted for myself. Is it my regret over Jiraiya-sensei? She closes her eyes, accepting her fate. You're still alive, Conan. Her eyes dart open at the familiar voice. She sees a smiling Naruto standing by the door, dressed in his shinobi clothes and hidden leaf flak jacket. Naruto? What are you? Where am I? He comes closer to her and sits down with her. You're in Mount Myaboku. I brought you here for healing, you were in a rough spot. She looks down at her wounds and bandaged body. Did Madara? Her eyes widen, and she jolts up. Madara. Naruto, Madara Uchiha is coming after you. He places a hand on her shoulder, leading her to lie back down. I know. It's all over, Conan. Madara, Zetsu, the Akatsuki, it's over. We won. How long have I been out? I don't know how long you've been unconscious, but it's been a year since Nagato died. A whole year? That long? Conan stops to gather her thoughts. Please, tell me what happened. It takes a while, even longer than it usually would take as he keeps getting sidetracked, but Naruto catches Conan up on everything that happened with some prodding from Hinata to get to the point. The 5 Kage Summit, the declaration of the 4th Ninja War, his mastery over Kurama's chakra, Madara Uchiha's true identity, the ultimate purpose of the Rinnegan, the Shinobi Alliance. Everything, including the recent events in the Hidden Rain. I see. So Matsu awoke the same ability as me. She grips onto the blanket she's covered with. Yeah, so Cat was out of the bag, so Baron told him. Naruto looks at the door. Did Nagato know he was a father? I never told him, but maybe he found out. Madara, or rather Obito, probably knew, as well, but never had any reason to act on it. Why didn't you? How could I? The life we were leading, the things we were doing, there was no way we could be his parents the way we were. I knew Baron to be a decent man, so I asked him to take Matsu in. I thought it'd be better for him, grow up as a normal child. But now he knows, and you're not like that anymore. You can be his mom. She turns to face away from Naruto. I can't. I abandoned my child, I have no right to be his mother now. On the other side, Hinata dabs a cloth and some medicinal paste and spreads it on Conan's arm. Of course you can, dear. It's never too late to be a parent, or even too early. She smiles at Naruto. You did what was best for your boy, as any parents would. You've been a mother this entire time. And what right do I have to be part of his life after 8 years? I dunno. Let's ask him. He turns to one of the windows. You kids done eavesdropping? A series of eeps is heard from the outside. Conan looks, frightened at the realization that Matsu was there all along, frightened at the prospect of meeting him after so long. The door creaks open, and Matsu is stood at the front with Katori and Yakimaru behind. Sorry, sensei. Matsu is looking down, holding his hands in front of him. He hesitates and tries to gather his courage. When he lifts his head to speak, he's met by a crying Conan. Seeing that, something within him gives in. He rushes to hug her, and she squeezes him as tightly as she can. A mother and son reunited. Some time later. Back in the Hidden Rain, Naruto, Hinata, Katori, and Yakimaru are ready to leave. They've gathered their things and are at the bridge to exit the village. Conan is there to send them off, Baron helping her stay on her feet. Matsu is by her side, holding her hand, with Fio and Surin behind them. Thank you for everything, Naruto. Of course. We're fellow students, after all. Have to look out for each other. Especially since we're the only ones left. She smiles and extends a hand for a handshake. Instead, Naruto goes to hug her. Conan is stunned for a second at the gesture and returns the hug. We'll meet up again, alright? Definitely. Katori and Yakimaru say their farewells to Matsu, as well. The purple-haired boy has more life in his expression now, but he's still on the reserved side. Next time we meet, we'll be awesome ninja, okay? As usual, Katori is as close as can be, excitedly hopping in place. Yakimaru is to the side, respecting his personal space a bit more. Yeah. Matsu nods. I'll train my jutsu every day and get way better at it. With mom. He and Conan smile at each other. Conan turns back to Naruto and Hinata. So where will you go now? We're long overdue for a visit to the Hidden Stone. We have a mission to do and matters to look into about the new threat. Right, that? I can't say to know much about it, but you can count on the Hidden Rain to help with this alliance of yours. See you soon, Conan. And with that, they take their leave and go to continue their journey. End of chapter 20.